Instead of walking by all those glass vases at the dollar store, stop and pick up a large and a small, round, bubble-shaped vase. Once home, glue the bottoms of the vases together. Next, roll out some air-dry clay into a thin sheet. Take a sheet of the clay and mold it around a portion of the glued glass vases. Don't worry too much about placement. Just place it on the glass and start to press and mold it against the glass. Continue to roll out sheets of air-dry clay and mold them to the open spaces on the vases until all the glass is covered. Smooth out the wrinkles and seams of the clay with your fingertips and a little water. The idea is to get rid of major seams, but retain the lumpy look of the clay. Once the clay is smoothed out, take a straw or a skewer and punch out some eyes and a mouth on the top vase and some buttons on the bottom. Take a small piece of air-dry clay and shape a nose for your snowman. I made mine with a point on the end and a little crook in the middle. Attach the nose to the top vase by using a dab of water as glue. Now for the hat. You can get really creative here and create any type of hat you want. Then I took a piece of rolled out clay and formed the top of the hat, complete with a pom-pom ball. Attach the two pieces together with just a bit of water. Use 2 different shades of cream craft paint. I used a titanium white and a linen color. And dab the paint onto the surface of the snowman and the hat. While the paint is still wet, shake and press baking soda onto the surface of the snowman and the hat. You can do this with a brush, but I just use my fingers to apply the baking soda. Once the paint dries, take a soft brush and brush away any excess baking soda. Remember, the bottom of your snowman has a bottom opening, so you can tuck a puck light under the snowman for a lighted effect. You may or may not have snow outside during the winter months, but this cute snowman will give your home all the winter vibes.
I recently saw some candles from Pottery Barn and loved how pretty they were. I thought it'd be fun to try making them myself. To start, I wanted to color the glass. One of my favorite ways to do this is with clear glue. I'm going to put a little glue into a small container and then add a bit of paint. I'm going to make my candles blue, white, and green, so I'll make a glue mixture in each of those colors. Now that I have the glue tinted, I'm going to paint it all over the glass dish on the outside. I find it easiest to turn them upside down over something like a paint can so that I can get right to the edges. I'm going to leave these for a few hours so that the glue and paint mixture has time to fully dry before moving on. I want to make my candles look really sparkly and pretty, like etched glass, so I'm going to add some white glitter to them. Using some Mod Podge, I'm going to paint it around the dishes, giving each one some stripes, but in a different pattern on each glass dish. With the Mod Podge painted on, I can sprinkle the white glitter all over it, and then when it dries, the glitter will stay in place. As the Mod Podge and glitter are drying, I'm going to go ahead and get my wax ready to make the candles inside. I grabbed these pillar candles from the dollar store and I'm going to melt them down. While the candle's melting, I can get the wicks ready in the dishes. I'm just going to use a couple of skewers to hold the wicks in place. These dishes are big enough that I think I'm going to put 3 wicks in each one. Now that my wax is melted, I want to add some essential oil to give my candles a beautiful scent. It's time to fill the glass dishes. I find this easiest to do with a small measuring cup so that I can control the amount that's going in and where I'm pouring it. I want to add a small amount first, just so that I can hold the wicks in place right where I want them. Now I can add the rest of the wax until the containers are about 1/2 inch or so from the top of the edge. The final thing to do before my new candles are ready is to remove the skewers and then trim the wicks. How pretty are these Pottery Barn inspired candles? They even smell as good as they look. I hope this has inspired you to grab some glass dishes from the thrift store and make your own candles too.
Begin by fluffing out a 24-inch flocked wreath. These are the perfect bases because you don't actually have to come back in with a whole lot of product. With this flocking on it, it kind of takes away from any imperfections and you're able to use less products. So just give it a quick fluff, make sure it's nice and even. Here we have these adorable little gingerbread ornaments, and what we're going to do, since they already have a hanger, is we're just going to feed it through one of these pieces of pine and then tuck that pine back into the wreath. So it's going to look awkward on the table, but once this hangs with gravity, it's going to pull it down and straighten it out. We'll place another one. We're going to place one in each quadrant since we have 4 of these specific ones. And again, just twist it around and that will hang nicely. And we have one more with a little snowman, and we'll place this one down below. So again, just place it right to the pine and that'll just hang down below. So we have a couple of these adorable little gingerbread houses, and we're going to just take the pine, and as you can see, there's windows on the back as well. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to poke it right through the pine and use that to anchor it in place. Now we have some of these mini Christmas trees, and these are also known as bottle brush trees because, you can use them to clean bottles. So we have these, and we have them in a couple sizes. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just place them throughout, just taking the pine around it and securing it. So these are super lightweight, and they'll stay exactly where you place them. Actually, if you really wanted to just stick it on like that, it would stay as well. But I like to make sure that it's wedged between some pine so that it really doesn't go anywhere. So there's a couple there. Let's work in a few more. Let's take another mini one and place it on this side. And this one's really cute. This one's like a little bush. And the beauty of this wreath, you guys, is that you can make it however you feel like. If you want more trees, you can work in more trees. If you don't like the look of trees, you could be substituting it for other embellishments like snowflakes and snowmen. We'll stick this mini one next to this one as well. So again, with the ornaments, they're just going to hang down below. And here we have a super tiny one, which we can stick anywhere. I'm just going to tuck that in. So these bags come with about 12 or so of varying sizes, and in this wreath we use 2, 4, 6, 7 of them. So let's hang this wreath up so you can get the final visual. So here's how the wreath turned out, you guys. I absolutely love it, and it was so easy to make and relatively inexpensive. We started with the flocked evergreen base, then we came back in with some gingerbread ornaments and a couple little houses, and then some trees, and that is it. And we've created our very own little winter wonderland. So I love how 3D this looks, and it looks like a real little Christmas village.
Pick up a pack of these LED pillars from Walmart, and we're going to turn them into Pottery Barn inspired candles. First up is the birch bark covered candles that are so popular right now. I went to the craft store and I found the perfect piece of paper. I'm going to cut it down to size, wrap it around the candle, and just secure it with a piece of tape. Now the top of these candles is curved a little bit, so I'm just going to use a craft knife to trim that off and make the paper match up perfectly with the edges of the candle. These give a really natural, rustic look to a Christmas mantle. These LED pillars have a wax coating on the outside, so you need a wax coating to do this. Then you're going to grab a hairdryer or a heat gun and a piece of burlap. I'm just going to heat up the wax until it just starts to melt. Then I'm going to wrap the burlap around the candle and apply pressure so I can get the pattern of the burlap onto the candle. I'm going to let this cool back to room temperature, and then I'm going to add some paint. Then I'm going to take a paper towel and just gently wipe some of that paint off so you can really see the beautiful texture that's left over. These candles have a really natural and rustic feel with a little bit of metallic gold peeking through. Grab a flameless candle and paint it gold. I'm going to cover the entire candle. Once it's dry, I'm going to come back in with a craft sponge and some metallic brown paint. I want to give this candle a vintage look, so it looks like it's a really old or antique candle. Now I have a set of candles that looks like they are covered in gold leaf. I love this look.